Good afternoon. That's plenty loud. Good afternoon, everyone. This second Senate meeting of the 2019-20 academic year is called to order. Welcome, everyone. Thanks for being here this week. As the weather improves, I find it easier to get around campus, and that my spirits are especially lifted with the cooling weather, and I hope the same is true for you. Let's go ahead and do our quorum calculation. Check. Maria?
Good afternoon, everyone. We're going to go ahead and open up the poll for the quorum calculation. Just a reminder that your clickers look like if they're not on, but they truly are. So just go ahead and press the corresponding number to the campus. Select the answer that corresponds to the campus in which you are attending today's meeting. A for downtown, B for Polytechnic, C for Tempe, and D for West. If you press the letter, it should register. If menu comes up, go ahead and press menu one more time. We're getting responses, so we know they're connecting. That would be C. Oops. We're going to allow for maybe 10 more minutes to put in your final selection. Not minutes, seconds. I got some looks. I'm like, what? All right, closing the poll. Okay, we're gonna go and do the triangulation. The question reads, which of the following is not a standing committee of the University Senate at ASU? A, University Services and Facilities Committee, B, Personnel Committee, C, Research and Arts Committee, or D, Student Faculty Policy Committee. Last minute votes, closing the poll. Research and Arts Committee, that is correct.
Very good, everyone. The correct name for that committee, or a parallel committee here at ASU, is Research and Creative Activity Committee. Okay, let's go ahead with our informational reports. Thank you, Maria, for managing that for us. Our first informational report this afternoon is from Patty Odell. Patty is the president of the Staff Council, and she is program manager for the library, doing communications and donor relations. Thank you, Patty.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Patty Odell, and I am the current Staff Council President. This year, we have our first ever president-elect, Jared Vibert. Jared and I will be sharing the attendance of these meetings. When we were asked to participate in the Faculty Senate meetings, Jared and I recognized that this was an important and natural connection. One of our Staff Council goals is the professional development of staff, where education and knowledge are key. We are always looking for new ideas and opportunities for collaboration in this area, and both faculty and staff presenters are at our annual CSW Staff Council Development Fair. Some of our additional areas of focus are our Lunch and Learn series, where our topics and registration are located on our Staff Council website, and anyone can attend those, and they're also recorded. Additionally, our scholarship and fundraising team facilitated the raising of $11,862 for our Staff Helping Staff and Judy Reynolds Scholarship Program. Lastly, engaging and appreciating employees is a top goal for our barbecues on all campuses. And I'm excited to tell you that this year is the first time that we are celebrating all employees at the barbecues. So everyone is invited to their respective campus barbecue, and we're partnered with HR, and they are celebrating service milestones at the barbecues. So please join us at your campus barbecue. The next one is the Polytech Campus Barbecue, held on November 19th. If you ever have any questions, feel free to email us at staffcouncil@asu.edu, and have a great evening.
Thank you, Patty. I'm going to ask Leah Jones from the Graduate and Professional Student Association to come up and give us a brief presentation about the goals and priorities for the Associated Students of ASU. Leah is a doctoral student at the School of Sustainability here at ASU, and she studies the food energy water nexus, water governance, and international development. I've asked Leah to come and present the goals and priorities of student government this year because I think it's awesome.
Awesome. So I am just going to give a brief overview of our Council of President priorities for this year. And then if you guys have any questions, please feel free to ask me. This document is available on the ASU Student Government website. So you can take a look at all of our priorities. It's about 2 pages long, so I'm not going to go through all of them right now. But we have 5 main goals that we're going to be focusing on this year. And those are sustainability, diversity and inclusion, civic engagement, academics, and resources and support. And so I'm just going to highlight a couple of the goals under each of those statements to give you an idea of some of the things that we're focusing on. So in sustainability, we really want to expand the number of buildings that have compostable, friendly services. We want to also provide an opportunity for students to rent graduation gowns instead of needing to purchase them so they can be reused. Under diversity and inclusion, we want health services to send out post-appointment surveys for both counseling as well as health services. so that we can just get some feedback on how to better support our diverse student body. We also want to provide increased resources for our families specifically in helping to support them in their academic pursuits. With civic engagement, we want to have ballot centers on all 4 campuses for state and national elections, as well as providing transportation to nearby polling locations. And we want to provide resources about the census coming up in the spring to really encourage all students to complete the census. For academics, we want to increase the overall number of applications in the Centennial Professorship Award and really increase the visibility of those winners. We also want to improve the spring transfer process so that students who come in the spring feel more welcome within the ASU community. And we want to expand study spaces during finals so that students have more spaces outside of just libraries to study, such as the MU or other unions on the other campuses. And under resources and support, we want to increase lighting on campus to make sure students feel safe. And we want to strengthen and expand our menstrual equity program that just got put in place about a month ago to make sure that all students have access to free menstrual products as they need it. So if anyone has any questions, I can take them now, but if not, thank you.
Are there any questions from Polly? I can't see that.
No, we have questions.
Any questions from downtown?
No questions from downtown, thank you.
Any questions from West?
One question from West. As part of your program to bring voting resources to each campus, are you also going to ask that we redo our student IDs so that they become legitimate identification for voting? I know under Arizona law, they must also have the person's address. Is that on the agenda, or should we start advocating for that?
We have not started that discussion of including that. One of the things we have asked for is that students who live in dorms can be given a zero balance utility bill so that it has an address on that utility bill and they can be registered in their dorm. But we haven't necessarily talked about the student IDs, but that's definitely a good idea that we can bring up. Thank you.
That's it from here.
Okay, thank you. Thanks very much, Leah. Next, we're going to have reports on the ABOR, the September ABOR meeting and Arizona Faculty's Council meeting. I see that Greg Stone is not here yet, so I'm going to ask Ann Sebrin if she would go ahead and give her report on the Arizona Faculty's Council meeting. Ann is attending from the downtown campus.
Hi, everybody. Shirley, can you hear me?
Yes.
Great. Just so everyone knows, the Arizona Faculty's Council is composed of the Senate leadership from each of the Arizona universities, U of A, NAU, and ASU. And at this past meeting, the AFC discussed the ABOR Committee on Freedom of Expression annual report. The discussion focused on the distinction between academic freedom in the classroom within the context of learning objectives set by the disciplinary parameters, and freedom of expression on campus as being two distinct spaces. And the discussion included brief descriptions of initiatives on each campus and the role of the upcoming Regents Cup, which is the inaugural debate that will be held at the University of Arizona on November 16th of this year. And so there was some discussion from particularly the AFC and the ABOR perspective of the role of this debate in increasing civil discourse and democratic engagement. There was also discussion of the first year retention and persistence project and the importance of emphasizing the role of faculty in retention and persistence. And one AFC initiative in support of this was making faculty role in retention the theme of the ABOR faculty breakfast. And there was also discussion on the limitations of tracking data that focuses only on first-time, first-year students and exploring or considering other models that would include part-time transfer and online students, and tracking those students for retention and persistence as well. The first reading of the proposed revision to ABOR Policy 2-224, academic credit, has been postponed until November, but the ABOR representatives who attended the meeting, the Director of Academic Affairs and Policy and the Assistant Director of Academic and Student Affairs, both emphasized from their perspective the importance of keeping faculty sovereign in determining what counts as academic credit, particularly with regard to entry tests such as the advanced placement. A brief discussion was held regarding general education policy and the university initiatives that will be implemented over the next few years. And there were reports from each university on current issues that included concern regarding minority student safety, the need for training related to race and bias by campus leadership and faculty, changes at other universities besides ASU regarding the definition of faculty to include part-time and NTE faculty, and salary and compression inversion concerns. That's all I have.
Thank you, Ann. I'm going to call for any questions. Are there any questions for Ann from the downtown campus?
No questions from downtown.
Any questions for Ann from the Poly campus?
No questions from Polly, thank you.
Thank you. Questions from West?
No questions from the West Campus.
Thank you. And I see no questions from Tempe. Since Greg is not here to give his report on the ABOR meeting, we'll fold that into a report at our next meeting or possibly at the December meeting. Next is my report as UAC chair, and there are a few things I wanted to mention. We have followed up on the question that was raised at the September Senate meeting regarding a student being trapped in an elevator in university housing. And we've asked Vice President of Student Services, Jennifer Hightower, to give an informational report about university housing and residential life. We expanded the scope of it beyond elevators to include campus safety and facilities conditions, but also asking her to address broader issues of residential life at a Senate meeting later this year. And we haven't set that meeting, but she has been invited to come and talk with us. Also want to mention book orders were due October 1st, and to remind you all that there's actually an ACD policy on this, ACD 30505, which is a policy that's been developed by faculty that says that book orders will be submitted by October 1st for spring semester and by April 1st for fall semesters. We had a new faculty reception last week that was sponsored by the Senate and our partners for that event, the University Club and the bookstore. And we had 21 new faculty in attendance, so I think it was a good event. I had a chance to meet quite a few of our new faculty and learn about their teaching interests and research interests. We are developing a list, the UAC is developing a list of guest speakers for informational reports for future Senate meetings. If you have suggestions for people you think should come and talk to the Senate as a whole about issues that are of concern to faculty, please let us know. And lastly, I want to reiterate, I sent around an invitation to all senators to indicate any interest in attending an event that's being sponsored by the Leadership Academy. This was a specific invitation to participate in a workshop this Friday on, let me get the naming of it accurate here. This one is on research innovation, and the discussion plans are to cover vision, ASU's vision for interdisciplinary research, the research priorities and strategies, how KED knowledge enterprise development is structured, what offices exist and what do they do, and how do you engage with KED. I've heard from some of you of your interest in participating. Please let me know by tomorrow if you have any interest, and I'll make sure that an invitation is extended to you. That meeting, workshop, seminar is Friday at 11:30 to 1. We're ready for new business. I'm going to ask Caroline to come up and present the curriculum and academic program motions.
Lily wasn't able to make it today, so I'm filling in for her for a one-time event. The following proposals are going to be presented at this Thursday's CAPC meeting for a vote, and then they will be brought back to the Senate at the next Senate meeting, which is November 4th, for the Senate to have a vote. The items that are in Appendix A will only be discussed at the upcoming CAPC meeting. If you have any issues on any of these, please email Lily and Shirley Rose. Make sure you send it to both so that it can come to CAPC and we can make sure they're addressed by at the meeting on Thursday. So the request from the Ira A. Fulton Schools of Engineering, School of Sustainable Engineering and the Built Environment, the name change of a graduate degree from MS in Construction Management to MS in Construction Management and Technology. Request from the W.P. Carey School of Business for the name change of a graduate degree from MS in Information Management to MS in Information Systems Management. Request from the W.P. Carey School of Business, Morrison School of Agribusiness for the disestablishment of an undergraduate degree, BS in Business Administration Financial Services. Request from the College of Health Solutions for the establishment of an undergraduate certificate, Hospice and Palliative Care. Request from the Herberger Institute for Design and the Arts, School of Music for the establishment of an undergraduate certificate, Music Entrepreneurship. Request from the Herberger Institute for Design and the Arts, School of Music for the establishment of a graduate certificate, Music Entrepreneurship. Looks like that was there. Request from the College of Liberal Arts and Sciences, School of International Letters and Cultures for the establishment of a graduate degree, MA Language Teaching. Request from the College of Liberal Arts and Sciences, School of Politics and Global Studies for the establishment of a graduate degree, MA Political Psychology. Request from the College of Liberal Arts and Sciences, School of International Letters and Cultures for the establishment of an undergraduate certificate, European Studies, and request from the School of Sustainability for the establishment of a graduate certificate, Energy and Sustainability. Again, any concerns or questions, please make sure you send them to both Lily and Shirley Rose before this Thursday's meeting. Thank you.
Thank you, Caroline. Next, we'll move to old business. First item of old business is the new course proposal consent agenda that was distributed by email on September 25th. The new course consent agenda was posted to all Senate members on September 25th. Does any member want to remove an item from the consent agenda? Anyone at Poly? I'm not hearing a response.
No.
Okay, thank you. Downtown.
Nothing from downtown, thank you.
Thank you. West.
No questions from West.
And I see none from Tempe. Seeing as there are no calls for changes, is there a motion and second to accept this consent agenda? Okay. Moved by Windhorst and seconded by McGregor. By the way, our secretary, Chris Kasalka, is attending from the Poly campus. Chris, maybe you could wave so people can see where you are. Thank you. She's able to hear and take notes. Thanks, Chris. Okay, the consent agenda has been moved and seconded. All in favor?
So I'm going to open the poll right now.
Oh, sure. Sorry.
So the poll is open. Do you approve Senate Motion 2020-11 new course proposal consent agenda? A for yes, B for no, C to abstain. Final call for votes. Closing the poll.
Motion passes. Now we're moving to item B, the CAPC consent agenda. Caroline. Thank you to Caroline Harrison for presenting these in Lily Wang's absence. Caroline is the vice chair of CAPC.
The following proposals were approved at the CAPC meeting last month, and they're presented here as a consent agenda for a vote. Request from the College of Liberal Arts and Sciences, School of International Letters and Cultures for the establishment of an undergraduate certificate, European Studies. A request from the College of Liberal Arts and Sciences, School of International Letters and Cultures for the name change of a graduate degree from PhD in International Letters and Cultures to PhD in Comparative Culture and Language. Request from the Edson College of Nursing and Health Innovation for the establishment of a graduate degree, MS in Healthcare Simulation. Request from the College of Integrated Sciences and Arts for the disestablishment of an undergraduate certificate, Technical Communication. Request from the Mary Lou Fulton Teachers College, Division of Educational Leadership and Innovation for the name change of a graduate degree from MA in Curriculum and Instruction to MA in Education. Request from the College of Liberal Arts and Sciences, School of Politics and Global Studies for the establishment of a graduate degree, MA in International Affairs and Leadership. Request from the Ira A. Fulton Schools of Engineering, Del E. Webb School of Construction for the name change of an undergraduate degree from BS in Construction Management to BS in Construction Management Technology. Request from the College of Liberal Arts and Sciences, Dean's Office for the establishment of an undergraduate degree, BS in Technological Leadership.
The CAPC consent agenda has been presented. Does anyone wish to remove an item? We'll start with downtown.
This is CBN at the downtown campus. We noticed that there are two of these motions that appear both as old business and under new business. One is the certificate in European Studies, and the other one is the construction
Management technology.
management technology. And they appear to be in both places.
Okay, we're checking this out.
Good catch.
Thanks to Ann Sebrin.
I'm always throwing a wrench in things.
You guys are already doing stuff down in Washington with John Capel's college, John Capel's college.
I did not know that. I didn't know that was the only thing that I was.
Could you come up and so people can, the other one is the construction management.
Shirley?
Yes.
Shirley, this is Ken from the West Campus. We might be able to answer the question at least for the European Studies certificate. It had come as a new proposal earlier, and there were some concerns from our faculty because they weren't consulted. They have been consulted and we are fine with it, and so that's probably why it's on both new and old business.
Okay.
Downtown, that with the construction management, that one is an MS and one is a BS, so they are different.
My bad.
Hopefully I should
Okay.
have
So it's appropriately on the one we already voted on, right? It belongs on the, oh, thank you. Okay. It belongs on this agenda. Thank you. Okay, so everything is fine with the consent agenda that we're about to vote on. There are no mistakes on this one we haven't voted on yet. Okay, thank you. Thanks for bringing that up, Ann, and helping us get that cleared up. Anything more from downtown?
Nothing more from downtown. Thank you.
Thank you. And Ken, thank you from West for clarifying that. Anything more from West?
Nothing more from West. Thank you.
Thank you. Anything from Polly?
Nothing from Polly. Thank you.
Thank you. And I see no questions from Tempe. Okay, this consent agenda has been moved and seconded.
Opening up the poll.
Okay. We'll take a vote as soon as the vote's posted.
Do you approve of the curriculum and academic programs consent agenda?
Wait a
A,
minute.
yes. B, no. C, abstain. Last call for votes. Closing the poll.
Motion passes. Thank you, everyone. Next is reports from committee chairs. I think Mary Jane Parmentier. Mary Jane Parmentier is the chair of the Personnel Committee, and she's from the School for the Future of Innovation in Society.
Hi, everybody. So the Personnel Committee has met, although not without the full committee. So we're hoping to have the full slate at the end of today, and I'll welcome those of you that are on it. But we were able to look at what carried over from last year. So I'm going to read the open requests for consultations that carried over from last year that we'll be dealing with this year. Review of merit pay systems at ASU, unit bylaws and response time from the Provost and Office of General Counsel, dependent documentation requirements for ASU benefits, study abroad faculty leader gender requirements policy, outside business arrangements and hours allowed, funding formula from ASU Online to academic units, and then outstanding items on the non-tenure eligible subcommittee, professional development funding for the NTE faculty, 15% cap on multi-year contracts for NTE faculty, exploring sabbatical type leaves for NTE faculty on MY contracts, exploring instructor career pathways, exploring notification periods for non-renewed NTE faculty members, and review of instructor and lecturer pay, career progression, and other NTE issues. And then concerns with summer pay and a new RFC, which we're calling summer pay formulas. That's it.
Thank you, Mary Jane.
Questions? No?
You want to take questions?
No, not really, but I will.
You can contact Mary Jane if you have questions.
Thank you.
I apologize that I skipped over an item that was on the agenda to precede the report from the Personnel Committee, and that is the committee on report from the Committee on Committees. This is a vote to approve the Senate Standing Committee slate, and I'll turn to Chris Kaselka, who is Chair of the University Senate Committee on Committees, as well as Senate Secretary.
Yes, thank you, Senators. This item was sent out for your review. This is the proposed list of new members for the Senate Standing Committees. This is in response to the survey that went out a few weeks ago, where people were asked to elect which standing committee they would like to serve on. So these new members require Senate approval. So the Committee on Committees presents this as a motion for approval.
Thank you, Chris. Denise, is a second needed since this comes from committee? No second is needed.
The poll is now open.
Well, I'm going to invite discussion just in case. But thank you for getting it ready. Is there any discussion from West?
No discussion here.
Thank you. Any discussion from Polly?
No discussion. Thank you.
Thank you. Discussion from downtown?
Nothing from downtown. Thank you.
Thank you. And I see no one at the microphone here at Tempe. Okay, we're ready for the vote now. Thank you, Maria.
Okay, some of you started, so go ahead and finish. Thank you. Calling for final votes. Closing the poll.
Motion passes.
Thank you.
Thank you, Maria. We now have time for, we have plenty of time, as you see from the clock, we have time for open forum. Is there any issues or questions? I see someone coming to the microphone at Tempe. This is Stefania. Introduce yourself.
Yeah, Stefania Tracogna. Is it on?
Doesn't sound like it.
I have no idea how to turn it on. Sorry.
Maybe you have to just be closer.
Hello? Oh,
There, that
okay.
was, that
It's
worked.
working. So several faculty members in my units brought up the following issue. As teachers were required to use third-party software chosen by the higher administration. An example of this is the RPNow proctoring online system or even Canvas. Now, if we are not happy about particular features of these third-party software, then we have no way to effectively communicate our grievances. I'm not talking about technical issues or glitches. I'm talking about particular features that are missing or could be improved. For example, RPNow cannot handle test availability exceptions on a per student basis. And in Canvas, for example, does not support extra credit for quizzes or tests. So when we communicate these issues to UTO, they usually suggest a workaround instead of contacting the third-party software company and ask for a change. Because we're not the ones negotiating the contracts, we have no power to demand change. Top UTO level has this power, and they should act in our interest and be an advocate for us. So once the grievances about these third-party vendors are identified, we should have an institutional mechanism to communicate them to UTO so that they, to top-level management UTO, so that they can communicate them to the management of these third-party companies and demand that the changes be implemented.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, Stefania. You've identified a significant concern to faculty. Let's talk afterwards, and we can take this, we can articulate exactly how we want to frame this, take it to the UAC, and from there forward it as an RFC to appropriate committee or committees. Any other issues or concerns for our open forum?
Holly,
Okay, there's someone from Poly?
Kirill Hrustovsky, Fulton Schools of Engineering, Polytechnic School. Last semester I raised the issue of skateboarders on campus. It's a safety concern, and the response was that the Senate will look into it. I was wondering what's the status? If it's been looked into, do we have to do something else and so on? Thank you.
I don't know the status of that, but we will check into it. Thank you for bringing it up. Yes, Windhorst.
Roger Windhorst, School of Earth and Space Exploration. This is a grave concern of ours too. I'm on the Senate Facilities Committee, and I'll make sure it gets brought up like last time. I'll make sure we subpoena whoever we need to subpoena to make sure there will be a change, because people's safety and
yes.
well-being is at stake here. This needs to be taken seriously.
Yes, thank you.
Can I make another comment on the canvas issue that was brought up before?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
What do we do? Tap more?
Just
higher. Okay.
That's better. Thank you.
Thanks, Debbie. Okay, so we had a faculty in our school that noticed to his great dismay that a test that he administered last week was a little lower on average score than normal, so he decided to add 7 out of 100 points to get the curve more up to par. And in that process, the highest score was lopped off at 100, which it probably should be. And the lowest score was brought up to a 50, while it was way below that. In other words, a nonlinear operation was implemented onto that curve, and it took him a lot of effort to figure that out. And I'm not even sure it's easily repairable. I think people who write Canvas should have taught large classes, and if not, they should precisely do what faculty here bring up. To implement, if that cannot be implemented on any finite time scale, we should do this ourselves. I have a 30-year-old Fortran program that does all that, but not everybody is so lucky. So we need to get a good permanent solution for this. Yeah? The fact that curves get manipulated in shape without the user knowing this is just unacceptable.
Thank you.
I have another question since somebody brought up skateboards and so on. Last year we talked about extending the walk-only zones, extend the time. Is that still, an item of discussion, or we just decided that it cannot be done?
I'm sorry, I don't know the status of that one. I will check. Just to clarify, you're asking about the walk-only zone time
to
being
extend
extended.
the time at least until 4:30, yes. Because
yes. The request.
It's one. Okay, sorry. Never mind.
Okay, never mind. Okay, we will check. We will check it, Stefania. So maybe the rule has been changed, but the compliance has not. Okay, we'll check about that. Any other issues from any of the campuses? If not, I'll hear a motion to adjourn. All in favor? This meeting is adjourned. Thank you, everyone.